day when Jimmy Carter was a little younger, he walked down the road to the post office. It was a small building with a little covered porch on the front. Usually during office hours, a few men sat on the porch swapping stories. That's how a lot of them got their news back in those days. As Jimmy approached the little building, he saw that Popeye was sitting on the porch in a cane-bottomed chair, whittling on a stick. That's Popeye as in Popeye the Sailor Man, you know, the cartoon character. "Hey, Popeye, what's up?" Jimmy said. Popeye took his pipe out of his mouth, blew up a ring of smoke, and grinned at Jimmy. "Hey, Jimmy, not much. How about you?" "I just got home from building a house for Habitat for Humanity," Jimmy replied. Popeye put his pipe back in his mouth and stood up. "I bet I could build a house faster than you," he bragged. "Yeah?" Jimmy said. "Well, let's just see about that." The two men made a plan to have a contest the next week. Which do you think built the house faster? The answer's easy, right? Nobody did, because this story's not true. But you knew that. You knew from the beginning that wasn't true, because you knew Popeye wasn't real. And since Popeye isn't real, you know Jimmy didn't have a contest with him. 1 Kings 19:18 WEB says, "Yet will I leave me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him." Yahweh was happy that he had 7,000 people who were still on his side rather than Baal's. He was super jealous of Baal. Now, this would be like Jimmy Carter's being jealous of Popeye the Sailor Man, right? Yahweh, supposedly a real God, was super jealous of a fake God. Super jealous of nothing. Baal didn't exist. Yahweh knew he didn't exist. He was jealous of a figment of people's imagination. We might as well say he was jealous of Popeye the Sailor Man. In fact, you might as well say Yahweh was jealous of a piece of tissue paper. No, it's worse. A tissue paper is real. Yahweh was jealous of nothing. The people who lived during the time Yahweh was concocted in the minds of men didn't know Baal from Yahweh. They had seen neither, because neither existed. They prayed, and they thought when good came, it came from whatever God they prayed to. Molech, Baal, Yahweh, Asherah, it was all the same to them. Although they did claim that the Queen of Heaven did more for them. Jeremiah 44:17 WEB says, "But we will certainly perform every word that has gone forth out of our mouth, to burn incense to the Queen of the sky, and to pour out drink offerings to her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of food, and were well, and saw no evil." The Queen of Heaven, or Queen of the Sky, as the World English Bible puts it here, apparently treated the Israelites well. At least they thought so. You know, like you're positive Yahweh treats you well. Every good thing that happens, you just know for sure it came from him. Yet they were just as deluded regarding the Queen of Heaven as you are regarding the God of Israel. You know how when you try to convince someone that your God is real, in the end, what it all boils down to is you just know it in your heart? Well, that's how ancient people were regarding Asherah. They just knew it, because good came when they worshipped her. They believed in Asherah and in Baal the same as you do in Yahweh. They believed in Asherah and Baal the same as they did in Yahweh. They saw no difference. They simply chose one or the other, or sometimes more than one, to worship. Now, if Yahweh had been real, this would have been a Jimmy Carter and Popeye story. The same situation. And the story wouldn't have been told. But Yahweh wasn't real. He wasn't Jimmy Carter. While Baal and the other gods were Popeye, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Supergirl. And if Yahweh had been the only real God, maybe he should have made himself known rather than hiding in the clouds. Maybe he should have been better to the people. Maybe he should have given them plenty of food and made sure they saw no evil and were well, instead of letting Asherah take care of them. But he wasn't real. He wasn't any more real than the others. And that's why he was jealous of the others. They were just like him. They didn't exist. And the people assumed Yahweh was jealous when they worshiped Baal. When Yahweh slew all the Egyptian firstborn, he said he was going to execute judgment on all the gods of Egypt. He was going to execute judgment on beings like Zeus and Poseidon and Loki, or, yes, Popeye's nemesis, Brutus or Bluto. What a joke. In Psalm 82, we see the gods, or the Elohim, standing in the midst of El, or Elyon, who was the Most High God, and was judging the lesser gods for how they behaved. Verses 6 and 7 say that the Elohim were gods, sons of Elyon, but they would die like men. Some people want to say these gods were men, but no. They were gods who simply would die as men die. There's a contrast here. They were gods, but were to die like men die. And why would these gods die? Because they weren't judging righteously. They weren't defending the poor and the fatherless. They weren't doing justice to the afflicted and needy. And the Most High God was upset about that. We know the Bible teaches that other gods existed just the same as it does Yahweh. Yahweh was not the only one. We have plenty of passages to prove this. Job 1:6, and there was a day when the sons of the gods came together before the Lord, and the Satan came with them. Exodus 15:11, who is like thee, O Lord, among the gods? Psalm 86:8, among the gods there is none like thee, O Lord. Psalm 135:5, I know that the Lord is great, and that our Lord is greater than all other gods. Psalm 96:4, for the Lord is great, and greatly to be praised. He is more to be feared than all other gods. That's not to say you shouldn't fear the other gods, just that you should fear Yahweh more. Israel's trying to build up her own God, make him seem more powerful. Take a look at Deuteronomy 32:8-9. This is from the New Jerusalem Bible from 1985. When the Most High, Elyon, gave the nations each their heritage, when he partitioned out the human race, he assigned the boundaries of nations according to the number of the children of God. But Yahweh's portion was his people. Jacob was to be the measure of his inheritance. Deuteronomy 4:20 says, but the Lord has taken you out of the flame and fire, out of Egypt, to be to him the people of his heritage, as you are today. Yahweh was the God of Israel, which the Bible says over and over and over. That's why they weren't to worship Baal or Asherah or Molech. It wasn't because these gods were fake, at least to them. We know, or should know, they're all fake, including Yahweh. But they weren't to worship them, not because they were fake. They were as real as Yahweh, as I said. Chemosh, in fact, was the god of the Moabites and the Ammonites. And according to the Bible, Chemosh took care of these people just as Asherah did the Israelites. Now, I can hear it now. That's just accommodative language. They're not real gods. We know that. There was really no Chemosh taking care of them. All the land and the other good things they received really came from Yahweh. Really. Yahweh did something and gave another god credit for it. Sorry, but that's not in his nature. Anyway, if it's accommodative language when Chemosh is mentioned, then wouldn't it be the same when Yahweh is mentioned? Think about this. If there were no supposed lower gods, why would there be a Most High one? And wouldn't people naturally think their God was the Most High One? The God of Israel declared early on that his people were to have no other gods before him. He believed in other gods, and that's because the people who created him believed in other gods. And sure, later on the Hebrew people tried to clean up their scriptures to make their God look like the only one. But we have enough to know that that's not how their story began. The tribal God of Israel is just like the tribal gods of Samaria, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Ireland, Mexico, and everywhere else. If it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, what do you think it is? Again, you know that Jimmy Carter was never jealous of Popeye. He never had a contest with Popeye. And no, Yahweh never had a contest with Baal on Mount Carmel to see who could light a fire without a match. It's just a story in a book. I've said this before and I'll probably say it again. Prince William doesn't play cricket with Prince Charming. And the Duchess of Cambridge doesn't sit down to tea with Cinderella. A real God doesn't do battle with make-believe gods. That's ridiculous. Imagine that your son has an imaginary godmother who gives him all the ice cream and candy he can eat. He talks about this woman all the time. He's just thrilled to have her in his life. And imagine you, as your son's mother, becoming irate at this imaginary godmother. You say, well, at least I have 5 other children who haven't kissed her feet. And I'm going to have a contest to see who can make the best breakfast. I'll show my son that I'm better than his imaginary godmother who gives him ice cream and candy all the time. I'll show her. Crazy, huh? Listen, I'm real big on make-believe. I think my Google Assistant will get his feelings hurt if I don't thank him for his information. I'm embarrassed in front of the Cartoon Owl duo if I make too many mistakes when I'm studying Spanish in Duolingo. I have trouble throwing away a balloon that's lost all its air and it's even torn or ripped because it's become my friend. I get giving human characteristics to the North Wind and Old Man River and Mr. Golden Sun. But I know the difference between reality and make-believe. Jimmy Carter is alive and in the real world. Popeye is only in our hearts. And yeah, that's where Jesus is too. Sure, he's in your heart. But like Asherah and Baal and Yahweh and Sonic and Supergirl and Prince Charming and Cinderella and Santa Claus, in our imaginations is the only place Jesus can be. And I'm okay with that. Now, Popeye, that one hurts. Thanks for watching. Bye.